Hi, this is Dennis Gage. Thanks for tuning in to My Classic Car, home of the certified car nut. Today we're in Ventura, California for a fun in the sun gathering of 55 through 72 Chevys. This combination car show and California experience is the Bowtie and Late Great Chevy's International Convention. Chevy owners and their families are participating in the show and shine, judging, volleyball, and a sandcastle sculpting contest. Joining me now is Danny Howell, president and owner of Late Great Chevys.
Hi, Dennis.
Danny, great to be here. What a beautiful day. Now, this is quite an event. I mentioned it's Bowtie and Late Great Chevys, but there's another organization, right?
Yes, it's our sister club called the Yesteryears.
So all three of them coming together for one event. How do the three break out?
Well, Bowtie Chevys is comprised of our 1955 6 and 7 Chevs. Late Great is 1958 to 1964, and Yesteryears, the newest one on the block, is our 1965 through 72 club.
Now, this is a Tuesday. I don't think I've ever shot a show on a Tuesday. It's kind of interesting. Why'd you pick this orientation?
Well, granted, most car shows are on the weekend, but we are very family oriented. And we have tried to make our shows not just a one-day event where you drive over and you leave the kids at home. We want the moms and the dads to be together and to bring the children and grandmas and grandpas. This is a family-orientated get-together.
Everybody comes out and even build sandcastles.
That's right.
And this is the international, but you move, and it's in Ventura, but you move the international around?
Yes, last year we were in Indianapolis, Indiana, and every year we have a different location for our international convention. This is, however, our first time in 19 years to have the international on the West Coast, but we felt we needed to come out and see our West Coast play.
Oh, absolutely, and there's some nice cars out here. Now, you've got cars from all over, but there's one that came from quite a distance.
I would say quite a distance. It actually came a while ago, but we were jazzed to have it here. It was a 1956 right-hand drive, 210, four-door sedan.
Out of Australia,
Out of Australia.
Now, you don't see that very often.
No, not here.
Now, this year it's in Ventura. Where's it next year?
Next year we're going to be in Baltimore, Maryland.
Well, boy, you do go coast to coast,
West,
don't you?
West Coast to East Coast.
Well, it's a great event. Can't wait to get around, and I might have to build a sandcastle myself.
Okay.
Go West, Chevy lovers, was the perfect slogan to sum up this classic Chevy show. On this sunny day, the rush to Ventura, California was not for the gold nuggets. Instead, the only prospecting going on during this show was for the gleaming paint jobs on these classic Bowties. Sand, sun, and surf made a perfect backdrop for these sparkling Chevys. This guy looks like he's ready to tackle the waves with his customized Woody. Surf's up, dude. There was a little bit of everything at this show, from a restored 50s ambulance to a 55 Chevy El Camino. Where'd that come from?
Well, Kirk, this is a beautiful little 55 Chev. Nice stock 265 engine in it.
Exactly.
Pretty much clean, pretty much like it would have been. But close up the front end, because it's the back end of this car that I want to look at.
Okay.
And I don't think it's exactly stock.
It really isn't.
This is the only 55 El Camino I've ever seen. Now El Camino came out in 59.
Exactly.
What's the story on this?
Well, basically, this car was designed back in the 1970s, and there was about 15 to 20 years it took to get all the parts for this. And it basically is a custom El Camino. It was built from a 1955 Nomad station wagon and a 1966 El Camino.
Well, the workmanship on it is just beautiful. I mean, it looks like it came off the line this way.
Well, I don't think it would have come off the line this nice, but yes, this is the way they would have done it, I believe.
It's truly ahead of its time, isn't it?
Well, yes, it is.
Well, and the interior is beautiful too. You've really got it loaded up with all the goodies.
Yep, it's got just about everything you could have ordered at that time in 1955 in the car, all the options.
Power windows.
Seats, and we can just go on forever.
Oh, it is just beautiful. And you've been showing it now for?
I've been showing this car for about 9 years.
I tell you, this thing is a true work of art, and this is what it would have looked like if they'd made it, I tell you.
Exactly.
It's beautiful. Kirk, thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
I love this thing.
Good, I'm glad you do too.
I love seeing young people enjoying these classic autos. Quality shows like the Rush for the Gold are vitally important in keeping youth involved in the car hobby. Along with the show and shine portion of the show, many of these classic Chevys were being judged in hopes of obtaining the highly sought-after gold certificate status.
Well, Steve, a 66 Impala 427 Super Sport, this is a pretty rare car.
Very rare car with a 427 with a 4-speed.
But I love the story of how you came by it.
I got this from a priest up in Oregon who's a member of our club, and he had 3 of them. And I said, if you ever want to sell one, you just let me know, and I'll be glad to take one off your hands. And finally he did, and I got it. And
3 427s?
Right.
Wow. one alone would be rare enough. Now
Right.
this one's even more rare. It's got a 4-speed in it.
4-speed is rare with a 390 horse.
How many did they make of that?
About 3,000 390 horses, and less than half of them I'm sure were 4-speeds. There's a lot of were automatics.
Now the knobs on the console, that's the multiplex stereo, right?
Stereo multiplex, which is a rare option too with the 4 speakers.
Now this is a Danube blue, very pretty sparkly.
A little bit more sparkly than stock because of the clear coat.
Uh-huh. But let's look at that 427.
Ready?
Oh, original engine?
Original engine. Everything is restored to original specifications.
427, turbojet, 390 horsepower.
Right.
And I bet it gets up and goes.
It does.
Now I
It
saw
does.
you had the original window sticker on there. What did it
Right.
go for new?
4,200, brand new.
4,200. Would you sell it today and today only for 4,200?
42 times X.
Yeah, it is. It's beautiful, Steve. You've done a great job on it. And you drive it.
I drive it almost every week somewhere. I always like to keep my eye on it though.
I hear you. I love it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you a lot. Thank you a lot, Dennis.
It's
Appreciate it.
beautiful. Well, Paul, this is a hot red 63 Impala SS. This thing's really pretty.
Thank you very much, Dennis.
Now, you say this started life as a drag car?
Yes, it spent almost its entire life as a drag racing car until about the early 80s, and then we saved it about 7 years ago from the scrap heap.
Wow. And where did you get it from?
It came out of Carson City, Nevada. It spent most of its life up in that area.
So it wasn't rusted. You know, one of the things I
Correct.
always liked about these big body Chevs was what I call the drive-in movie trunk.
Absolutely, it's a split level model.
It's a tri-level, as a matter of fact. You can get 6-8 people in there.
Absolutely, it was great for driving movie
Absolutely,
nights.
I loved it. Now, the interior looks awful nice for a drag car. Was it all there or not?
No, it was. The back seat was missing, and of course the front seats were pretty well trashed, and I redid the entire interior.
Now, it's got the 4-speed in it, and that TAC, was that standard?
The TAC was standard with 409 engines.
Oh, that's right. And that's right. This is a 409. This is the legendary dual quad 409 car.
That's right, the Beach Boy Special.
Well, let's open her up. Whoa, a lot of chrome. Now that's a 425 horse 409. I always thought 409 was 409 cubic inches and 409 horsepower.
Well, they were in 1962, and in 63 and 64, they chromed them up and boosted the power to 425.
Man, that looks, now is that the original engine for the car?
It's a correct date-coded block, but it's a replacement block that I found in Indiana, in fact.
And we're able to put it all back together and pretty much stock.
That's right, a lot of Sherlock Holmesing and a lot of dollars, and we found all the parts.
Yeah, but it takes both of those, doesn't it?
It does indeed.
Well, it sure is pretty. And do you drive it?
Yes, about 500 miles a year, mostly just shows and cruises, but it's been about a 5-year restoration, about 500 miles a year.
And it really gets down?
And it does snap your neck.
Well, I love it, and I'm so glad you drive it, because that's the fun, isn't
It is fun. That's the only reason to build them.
Thanks a lot, Paul.
Thank you so much,
Beautiful.
Dennis. Nice seeing you.
Do love the heads. Always have loved those.
This is a story of a man who is reliving his childhood memories of early morning rides with his grandfather in a 1955 vintage vehicle. This vehicle is not a sleek sedan, nor a classic coupe, but a 55 Ford F100 truck.
Well, today I'm in Anaheim, California, in a warehouse due to slightly inclement weather with Chet Fortney. Chet, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And this gorgeous 1955 F100 pickup. This thing is beautifully restored,
Thank
Chet,
you.
and done a lot differently than you see them these days. I mean, most of them are modded out some way. And they
Yes.
look cool that way. I mean, they do. But to have one as stock as this is really pretty rare.
It's a little unique.
Now, it's this way for a particular reason. This is kind of a special truck. to
Yes,
you.
it is.
What's the story on it?
This is my grandfather's truck. It was in our family since 1958, and I remember my grandfather taking me to work in this truck and him letting me push the button to start it in the morning. I remember the feel of the truck, and I really wanted to recapture that. That was what was important to me.
So it's been in the family for 3 generations.
Yes, it has.
Wow. Has it always looked this nice?
Not quite this nice. We used it. It was a work truck.
So if it was a work truck, you really had to do some work to bring it back. How much? I mean, the bed is like absolutely brand new. It's,
Yes,
it's
it is.
gorgeous.
Yeah, we did a lot of work to it. We completely restored it from the frame up.
And is this the original bed?
No, the original bed was a little bit dented up, so we took that one off and replaced it, but it is the original fenders.
Well, nothing rusts out here, so I guess that makes that makes
true.
sense. And I imagine it was just easier to replace the bed than to try and bring it back as perfect as a new one would be.
That's right. That's right.
What's gorgeous. And would this been the original color on it?
Yes, it is. That's the original color.
It's kind of a classic, 50s truck color too. Now this was a 55. This was before, in 56 they changed the cab a little bit and it got a little bit longer. This one has that very narrow, tall feeling. almost kind of phone booth type feeling.
Yes, it does. They tried to give it a little bit more room in 56, and they opened up the wind wing a bit and gave it a little bit more room. This one, tends to go along with the styles of the earlier trucks.
Now it's a custom cab, which means it was a little bit more trick inside than just your straight F100.
Yes.
And you've done a little bit of modification because you like to use it. I mean, there's some carpet in there. You've recovered the seat, but it is the original seat, right?
Yes, it is.
Now, how about the dash? Would that have been the instrumentation in 55?
That is the original instrumentation. That's the original Gage cluster.
Man. Now there's one lever over there. Is that an overdrive?
That's the overdrive. That's the one thing that I did add. I wanted to be able to drive the truck on the freeway, and it tends to tack out a little bit if you don't have that overdrive.
I'm sure it does. Well, it's absolutely beautiful. Can I close it like a truck?
Yes, close it like a truck.
I can't wait. Yes.
Get that truck sound.
That truck sound. Well, F100, and that actually became an F100 in 53. There were F1s before that. So this is a half-ton truck.
Yes.
And you've done a little bit more modification up front. There's a little bit more chrome, but otherwise it's pretty stock looking. What all was done here?
Originally it came with the horseshoe white on the background of the grille,
okay.
And the trim ring, and this front trim and the star were what was chrome.
Now I'm used to, I haven't seen the star, I'm used to seeing the V8.
Right. Everyone likes to put the V8s in them and then change that to a V8 if it did have a 6. This has the original 6-cylinder in it, so the star came with the 6-cylinder.
Okay, so well, let's have a look at that 6. That was a 223.
Yes.
Is that right? A romping 109 horsepower.
109.
Oh, yes.
Oh, 109.
Oh, 109 there. Well, it's beautiful. This is like it came off the showroom. That would have been the original kind of baby blue color.
Yes.
Man. Well, now, how long have you had it restored?
We've had it restored since September.
Well, not very long.
So
Have you driven it very much at all?
400 or 500 miles. Just getting it broken in.
And it's really just a Sunday driver then?
It is. I like to take my kids out to breakfast in it.
Well, it is Sunday.
It is.
And if the rain is let up, what do you say we do a little driving?
I'd love to.
All right. A lot of double takes.
It seems like people look at it first glance and they just see, an old truck, but then certain people it catches their eye. Something in it catches their eye, and they do take a double take, and then they look at it a little bit closer and they kind of nod and say, that's.
I bet there's a lot of thumbs
nice.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it runs beautifully.
Thank you.
3 on the tree.
It's a lot of fun. I love the 3 on the tree.
Well, the steering wheel is more flat. I mean, it's very truckish. You're not driving like this. You're driving like this.
You're in a truck.
You know you're in a truck.
It's got the truck horn too.
You've really got it riding like brand new. It doesn't ride like a truck. It actually rides beautifully.
Rides pretty nicely, doesn't it? I was really worried about that because I didn't want,
the bouncing around and everything.
And a lot of rattles and bangs, and you just don't know how they're going to come back together until you're done.
Chet's Sunday morning breakfast outings with his kids are what the car hobby's all about. Vintage vehicles being passed down from one generation to the next, so the next generation can enjoy some of the same great automotive experiences.